To learn a language, we require some inspiring life stories to give us an idea about how to speak and what to speak about. A famous English book, The Diary of a Young Girl, which was a translation in English, not the original, translated from the Dutch language into English, by a young girl, Anne Frank. It's not only a very inspiring book, but it also helps you to learn excellent English. You can learn vocabulary, you can learn structures of English, how to put them into sentences, and see how this little girl, just 13 years old, because she lived only up to 15, for 2 years she wrote a book which has sold millions and millions of copies in more than 70 languages of the world. You can imagine what a great book this must be. And the life of Anne Frank will give you the context for speaking good English. What is it that is so great about her? She lived at a time when the Second World War, 1939 to 1945, was on. She was a Jew, and Jews were persecuted during this time. They were killed in large numbers. They say that 6 million or more than that. This was what this young girl was facing. They were hiding during the war so that they are not caught. But finally they were caught, and in the concentration camp, this little girl and her elder sister died. The mother also could not survive, only the father survived. What did Anne write in this diary that is so inspiring? She wrote about goodness. She wrote about hope. She wrote that a future will come when it will be wonderful. As we stand on the brink of a lot of unrest globally, many wars are being fought everywhere, then we realized that here is a little girl who's telling us that war is destructive. Let us live in peace. Let us be happy. Let us hope for a future which is so bright and so full of promise. This is the story of Anne Frank. In this video, I have given you some slides where I have told you a very brief sketch of these times. How under Hitler's rule, people were tortured and killed. How this little girl, in spite of all the fear and all the worry and anxiety, lived a happy life, short life. And it is so sad that immediately after the two sisters died, within a few days of each other, the concentration camp prisoners were all set free. These two girls could not be set free because they were already dead of a terrible disease called typhus. But Anne Frank lives in our memories forever. She lives in the pages of her diary. When we read it, we not only learn English, but we learn how to be good human beings. We learn how to be human beings who always look at the positive side of things. This video should be very useful for you to practice your listening, your speaking, and your reading also. You can write about Anne Frank to practice your writing. And then you can read the actual diary, the original diary, which was in the Dutch language. Many of us can't read, but we can certainly read the translation in English. It might be available in translations in your language, but please read the English version also. In this way, you learn all aspects of the language. You also learn many things about how to live a wonderful life, although a very short one. Let us now begin. Listen to this story carefully. Read it loudly as you see the sentences scrolling on your screen. After watching the entire video, try to speak about what you have heard. First, practice speaking alone and then speak about it with others. Tell everyone this inspiring story of Anne Frank and her Immortal diary. Now, let us begin the story of Anne Frank and her diary. Some people do not die when they breathe their last. They become immortal because of their precious gifts which they leave behind them. Anne Frank is one such young girl. She died at the age of 15 during the Second World War. But the diary she left behind has been inspiring millions of people around the world. The diary was originally written in the Dutch language. Over time, it has been translated into about 70 languages. It continues to be sold in large numbers even today. There is a magic in the popularity of Anne's diary. This magic is her belief in goodness. She saw only good in everything in the world. She was always positive and optimistic. Although there was evil all around during the Second World War, she did not lose heart. She hoped for a better and happier future. Jews suffered the most during the Second World War. Anne belonged to a Jewish family. She was born in Frankfurt, Germany on 12th June 1929. Her parents were Otto Frank and Edith Frank. She had an elder sister named Margaret Frank. Margaret was 3.5 years older than Anne. Their family had been very rich till the war. Their father worked in the family business in Germany. But Germany was becoming uncomfortable for Jews at this time. In 1933, Otto Frank opened a branch of his company in Amsterdam. The whole family moved to Amsterdam in 1934. The dreaded World War II started in 1939. During this war, millions of Jews were tortured and put to death. Anne and her family were not captured for the first few years. They hid in a secret annex of their father's business premises. They lived in constant fear. They just had the bare necessities for existence. They never met any other people and therefore had no friends. These were days of great loneliness for the young girl. She got a diary as a birthday gift on her 13th birthday and began writing her diary from then on. She treated her diary as her friend. In her diary, she wrote letters to an imaginary person, Kitty. She felt happy to share all her thoughts in writing. There was terror all around them. The family lived in constant fear of discovery. But this fear did not make Anne think negative thoughts. Even in this gloom, she looked on the brighter side of things. Her inner strength gave Anne great hope. She hoped that life would become easier for them. She believed that her family would be able to come out of hiding. She wanted them to be able to lead a normal life. But in a little more than 2 years, their secret hiding place was discovered. Officials of the German dictator Hitler came and arrested them. Hitler was the leader who was responsible for killing about 6 million Jews during this war. Hitler's officers also took away all the possessions of Anne's family. Anne's diary was of no value to them, so it was left behind in the annex. The entire family was taken to concentration camps. Anne and her sister died of typhus fever in the concentration camp. Just 2 weeks later, Americans set free the people of this concentration camp. Otto Frank, Anne's father, was the only one in their family who survived. After the war ended in 1945, pages of Anne's diary were given to her father. The father held on to these precious writings of his dead daughter. Otto Frank was amazed at the maturity of his young daughter's writings. He recollected that Anne had wanted to become a writer. She had been eager to publish her own writings. As a tribute to her memory, Otto Frank decided to publish Anne's diary. First, he put together all Anne's writings and looked for a publisher. He had many difficulties in finding anyone who would publish the diary. Then his historian friend wrote about the diary in a newspaper. This created great interest among the people. Finally, the diary was published in 1947 in Amsterdam. The diary became a bestseller in the Netherlands. French and German translations were brought out in 1950. The English translation, titled The Diary of a Young Girl, was brought out in 1952. Within a few years, the diary was also made into a play and a movie. In this way, the Diary of Anne Frank became a classic. It is valuable because it records the experience of the Holocaust, but with an element of hope. This brave young girl has left behind a precious gift for humanity. I would recommend that every one of you read the English translation of The Diary of a Young Girl by Anne Frank. This will tell you about the story of Anne and the time in which she lived. It will also improve your English. You will learn values of goodness and positivity. You will also learn how to put your ideas into words, how writing is so important for a person like Anne, who wanted to keep her mind strong at a difficult time. All these are great help for all of you. Watch the video again and again and practice. Thank you and all the best.